Okay guys, how's it going? So let's do a little bit of a how-to today. If you guys have been watching me, you've seen the video where I rewire the other mower. Now I'm actually going to take you guys through step by step how to actually rewire a mower so that way it gets rid of all the safety switches. If you have a mower that doesn't have any wiring in it, such as the one that I'm going to be doing, you won't have this type of issue. If you have all your wires in there, you may have a bad switch, or so on and so forth, or you're going to use it as an off-road type of machine where you're not actually going to be mowing with it. Lawnmowers are quite inherently dangerous when they have the blades and stuff on them. They can hurt you very badly. But if you are watching this, you guys understand all that. Just don't do this if you know that you're going to be using this for other purposes other than mowing. If you're going to use it for mowing, you may not want to do this. If you're going to use it for other stuff, have at it. So like I said, what I'm going to do is I'll go through and kind of show you guys what's going on and the pieces and parts that you'll need to rewire a mower. Different mowers will require a few different things. If you have one with the fuel solenoid that's on the bottom of the carburetor, you will need an extra switch. There are ways around this also, but the way that I wired the other one was with an extra switch to run that, so that way I know that it would be shut off. If you are racing, you can get a tethered switch, so that way if you was to fall off, it would unhook the tether and then you could go from there. So let me get you guys all set up here and then I'll show you guys what's going on, so hold on. Okay tube, so here's the test subject. So what we got is an MTD that's supposed to have a 38-inch deck on it, but it is not there. Did not come with it, and I'm not worried about that. What we're going to do is rewire this thing. So what we got going on is no wiring at all except for the starter wire, and it comes up to here, and then it has the ground wire that comes right here, and that's pretty much it, guys. There's really nothing left on this thing as far as wiring. Okay. If you guys have the factory wiring for one of these, it does make it a little easier. Then you don't have to cut any of the connectors off of what is already here, the couple things that you'll need. With this one, you only need one connector. Some of the other ones you may need two, like the other one that I did, it needs two. So, and let me walk you through the things that you have to have beyond the actual mower itself. Okay, so you're going to need some spade connectors like this, or female connectors. So you need a few of these. You're going to need a push button switch like this. It doesn't have to be this particular push button. Almost any push button switch will work. You're going to need a toggle switch. And you're going to need the solenoid. If you don't have a good solenoid, you will have to source one of these. If it is good, that is awesome. And of course you will need some wiring. Like I said previously, if you do have the wiring for your lawnmower, it makes it a little easier because you can just strip it all off. You don't need any of it except for a few pieces, and then you can reuse some of the wiring that's in there. First things, what you want to do is, this has no key switch. This is where my push button will go. So I have my push button and it will fit right in this hole. Most push buttons will have a little, or where your keys are, will have a little flat spot in it. I took my drill and rounded this out so that way it goes in there. Same thing up here. I have a flat spot on the dash below here, below my other switch, so I'm going to put my toggle switch in there. And yes, it is an oddball hole. I didn't have a right size drill. So this fits right in there. And then this is the other switch. So you got 1, 2, 3 total switches, and then you'll have your solenoid. Next thing, solenoid placement. Are you taking your lawnmower off the road? You're going to get it in the water. Put that thing as high as you can. Okay, so like I said, put that solenoid as high as you can. The higher you get it, the less chance that you're going to have a electrical failure while you're down in the mud or the water or whatnot. So you want to make sure where you're going to put your electrical components at. You want your switches as high as you possibly can, all that stuff as high as you can. So now let's get down to the actual wiring. Okay, on the engine itself, you will normally find a plug such as this. This is for your stator for the actual charging circuit. Most of the time, the side that has this extra little bump in it, that is the diode that's in there to keep it from back feeding into the stator, so that way it doesn't burn it out. That's your positive. That's what will go to your battery. Most people will run the secondary wire to their headlights. Okay, so if you have this connector, awesome. If not, what you're going to have to do is snip this connector off, or figure out how to take these out and you reuse that. Okay. The second wire that you're going to have is the wire that actually goes to your starter. This one runs straight up to my starter. It's already hooked up. I don't have to mess with it. So this runs back, and and you can hear it dead ends there with this little clip on there. Okay. My solenoid actually mounts right here, so I'm going to remount my solenoid right here and hook that up. Okay, so the next thing is you're going to have a kill wire. You have to have the kill wire, because if you don't, that's what actually shuts your engine off. So I have this little connector on here, so just kind of as a to show you, because it is quite dark out here in my garage. So you will have to have this on here, and there will be a wire coming out of this that will go to one of the switches once we get that far. So let's get to it, guys. Okay guys, so here's my plan of action. So what I do is I'll go through and I'll start to plan where I want to route my wires. You want to make for sure that everything is away from everything, so it doesn't touch anything. You have your engine shroud on this that you can attach them to, but you want to make sure that it's attached in a way so it doesn't interfere with anything. So I sourced the connector off of another mower, so that way I didn't have to cut this. These are on just about every mower I've found so far. So if you have another mower, most of the time those are on there. Sometimes there's a couple of them. Okay, so this is your kill wire, and these ones are for your stator. So that's the two wires that you have to have so far. Okay, so here's the coil and your kill wire, and what you have to do with this one works when it is not grounded. So the coil energizes when the engine is running, when the coil is not grounded. So what you have to do to kill the engine is this wire has to be grounded. So what you do is you'll run this, okay, which I've already terminated, into a switch, which is going to be, this is going to be the kill switch. So on the back of this, you will hook this on one side. Okay. I modified this switch a little bit so that way it's supposed to have screw terminals on there, and I modified it so it fits this. And then the other side of this, which is this yellow wire, because I couldn't find my black wire, it is not terminated yet, but what I'm going to do is I'll put a ring terminal on here, and it will be grounded straight to the chassis. So you'll find a good spot. Sometimes you can do it on the block, up on the firewall, wherever you guys want to put it at, anywhere in here. As long as it's grounded to the chassis, it will kill the engine as soon as you flip the switch off. Okay, so when you flip it, it'll go off. Okay, so this is grounded to this bolt on the back side with a ring terminal, and this one runs over to your kill wire, or that's your kill wire that runs to your coil. So when you flip the switch, it'll kill it instant. Okay, you can actually use a tether on this also, a tether kill switch. Some of those are mandated for racing, or if you want to be safe, you'll put a tethered kill switch, which will have a tether on it. If you're sitting in the seat, you fall off of it, it kills the engine. Okay, so essentially you have two circuits that you're hooking up. One is for the coil for the kill wire, and the other one is for the rest of the mower, so that way you can actually push the button and start the mower. So that's what we're going to work on now. I've already took the switch and installed it, and I have two wires that are running from that, so you got your positive and negative, if you want to put it that way. It isn't going to be negative, but you have your two wires, which is like this, coming out of it. One of those will run to the solenoid. The other one will run to the positive side of the solenoid, so the side that the battery actually hooks to will be the side that you will plug all the rest of the wires in. Okay, so this is what the solenoid looks like that comes off of this particular mower. This one has a little nut right here, okay, and then you have your positive side. One is positive, the other is actually positive also, but for it to energize, which actually makes it click, that's what you hear when you go to start the mower. It does this clicking sound or whining when it goes to start. So one side goes to your battery, the other side actually goes to the starter, okay, and then this part here actually goes to the switch that I just talked about. So you will have one of these wires going to the switch, one side will be your battery, the other side will be the starter. So one of these wires go to the battery side, one of them goes to the actual, this little piece here. Okay, so that's what we're going to work on now. Okay, so this next part, I don't have ring terminals right now. I used the last couple on the other mower and I don't have any more. So what I'm going to do is something that I don't recommend. So I say to get the ring terminals, because like I said, I don't have them, so I'm kind of improvising for the moment until I can go get them. So I'm going to leave my wires a little long, so that way I can actually show you guys how this works. So what we have to do, like I was saying, one side will be positive, the other side is actually positive also. Okay guys, so the solenoid side of things, you will have positive go in one side, positive will go out the other once it's actually energized. To energize the circuit, you have to have a ground, which will be this plate here. This will actually get grounded to the chassis. That's why they're bolted to the chassis. These two bolts here is what bolts it to the chassis on this one. So once it's bolted to the chassis, this becomes your ground. This becomes your energizing circuit. then you will have your positive and positive. One side goes in, the other side goes out, but once it actually energizes it, comes out the other side to the starter. That's what the clicking sound is that you do when you hit this. Okay, so like I said before, I don't have the ring terminals to put this on there correctly. So the ring terminal looks like this, guys. I don't have them right now, and I will change this once I actually get them. I will pick those up today to get this fixed. So you will get something like this, and what it does is it will go over that, and then you will tighten it down on there. What I'm going to do is kind of redneck it for the moment, and what you do is you make your wire, once you put your sheathing off of there, make it a little long, so that way you can wrap it around it and tighten it down on there. Okay, so that's what it looks like. It's just kind of jammed in between those two nuts, and then she's tied on there. So that's the first part of the circuit. Okay, so this one's already got the ring terminal on there. I don't have to change it, and it goes on the other side. Your positive will go in here, your other positive will come out there. Once the circuit's energized, it will actually start the vehicle or start the mower. Okay, so this is what you will see when you get done with that particular circuit. So it's, in a sense, you will have two circuits. This is your switch. Positive comes from here, goes into there, the energizer circuit. It's just like a relay. This is a big high amp relay is what these are. So this is my positive. This will go to the battery. Comes up in here. When it energizes, it sends the power to here when you hit the button, and then it will send power through here all the way down here. It goes into the starter. Okay. So this next part, because it's not actually installed in the mower, I'm more or less testing it so that way I can show you guys outside of the mower what you have to do. The two circuits that I have hooked up is what you will do on pretty much any mower. If they have the fuel shutoff valve, it is a little different. What I can do is I can show you how that works also. But that'll have to be in another video because this is just pertaining to this style of mower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the battery out, my jumper battery, and hook it up to this and kind of show you guys how this system works. Okay, so remember what I said, that this is the ground, and this actually mounts to the chassis. So it's going to be hanging out here just for demonstration purposes. I still have to get these ring terminals to put on here. So I'm going to leave this out until I get those tonight. So what you're going to do is your negative, which is this one, your black wire, will hook here, which is your ground. Okay, and your positive, because I have the wire hooked up for my positive, goes down here. So it will hang off of here. So let me set that up. Okay, so we got the positive hanging down here off the positive lead, got the negative hooked up right here. So what I'm going to do is just demonstration here. I'm going to hit the button. You guys listen here. Okay, so that means the relay is working. Now the thing is this has to be attached to the chassis for it to actually run and turn over the engine. So let me set this up because I kind of forgot about that. Okay guys, so we're at the end here. I'll do a little walkthrough here of where the wires run and why, and then I got to go through and tidy everything up, get those couple wire ends there, the ring terminals, because I don't have any, and we'll go from there. So this system, to run it on a particular engine that doesn't have the fuel shutoff solenoid on the carburetor, takes 5 wires. So you got one from the kill wire, or from the solenoid, I mean. So you got one from the solenoid, you have one that comes from the stator, you have one that goes from the switch, and you have 2 that actually comes from the actual push button that's on there. Okay, so let me show you guys how that worked. So this comes from your stator. This right here is coming from your stator. This red wire is the one that's your positive. This one is your coil wire for your kill wire. This one runs all the way back underneath, and I've got it hooked into the wire that runs into here, so it splices in here and goes right into there. The other side of this goes up to this switch. This is what actually starts it. The other side of that goes to your solenoid. So you have 2 wires that come from here. One side goes to positive, the other side goes to your solenoid to start it. Okay. That's your positive. That's the only part of your positive that you need. The kill wire comes up here and goes to the toggle switch that I have. The other side of it goes to the ground. When you run your wires, make sure nothing is in the way when you go to try to start this thing. So you look around, make sure there's nothing in the starter, anything like that, guys. So once you do your solenoid, which it looks like a spaghetti mess, I left everything a little long because it has to go back up over here, because this goes in on here. So this actually goes in upside down back over here. So once I get all this together, put my ring terminals on there, and then I'll put this back together over here. And then the other side goes to my negative, or to my positive, and then here's the ground. So I'm going to put a little link below for the diagram that I partially used for this. Fearless Front has done a video similar to this. Not necessarily following in his footsteps, but he posted this up a while ago, and I wanted to do a basic walkthrough. And I'm going to put that diagram up also that I found on All Terrain Lawn Tractor Forum, and it'll be down below here, guys. So if you have any questions, comments, you know, rate, subscribe, guys. Hit the thumbs up for me, you know, all that good stuff. So I did not hook up the lights for this. That is this is just basically just to make the mower run. If you're hooking up lights, you will put a positive through your switch and then up to the lights, and then you'll have to ground the other side. If you guys want that also, I can post up another video of that and show you guys how that works. So I hope you guys like the videos. I hope you want to subscribe, all that good stuff. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you like the how-to. Bye-bye.